Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Just going to give some time for participants to join the call. So we're going to get started fairly soon. Just want to give everybody an opportunity to get into the session, and then we're going to get started. All right, just take a look here. I still see that number going up. Okay. All right, so if anybody joins us later, then they'll catch up, and we'll also receive a copy of the recording. So everyone registered for this session will receive a copy of the recording afterwards. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Smith Master of Finance information session. Before I introduce myself, I just would like to let you know that if you are here, you are interested in learning a little bit more about the Master of Finance program, and you're also interested in pursuing the CFA designation, or you've already completed your CFA and you want to learn, well, why should I be interested in this program? So I have a special guest joining me here today to talk about why she pursued this program while being a CFA charter holder. I'll introduce her in a little bit, but let's get started first with a land acknowledgement. So Smith, Toronto is situated on the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat and the Piton First Nations, the Seneca and the Mississaugas of the Credit River. We are grateful to be able to live, learn, and play on these lands. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here for this information session where we will be talking about the Master of Finance program and the CFA designation. But let's talk a little bit more about the Master of Finance and what it is. So this program itself is a full-time 1-year while you work program. So if you are interested in this program and you're working full-time, this program allows you to continue working while taking this program on an evening and every alternating weekend. So this program, in terms of its structure, we have class every Monday evening from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and every alternating Saturday, and that'll be for the full day. So what this program does, it provides you with a deeper and broader understanding of finance. So we're not necessarily just learning about the theoretical side of things, but it's all about practical and skills-based learning. We want you to be able to take the lessons that you've learned in the program and apply it in your workplace, and that's why this program is designed for a working professional. So we do not only look at the theoretical side of things, but we're looking at what's happening in the market. So if you look at what's happening right now, there's so many things happening, and it really makes for some interesting conversations, and it really will challenge you in terms of assessment and what to do in terms of stocks. If you're taking our equity class and you have to give a buy or sell recommendation, you have to look at a lot of things of what's happening in the market. So the macroeconomic conditions that are applying. So you have to use a lot of analytical skills and analyzing the market, analyzing these companies, and then making your recommendation. So you will get a full understanding of the current market climate, which is volatile to say the least. And you'll also get an opportunity to look at market trends, and you'll be able to, what we do in this program is also help you with your communication. So many of you may have knowledge of financial concepts, but how do you take that knowledge that you have and how do you communicate to people who may not have the same level of information that you do? So we help you with that, help you with your presentations, and this is all part of the program. It's all part of the experiential learning that we have throughout the program. So you will be working with teams throughout your time in the program. It gives you an opportunity to establish your network, meet people who are working financial professionals. It gives you an opportunity to challenge yourself, to get to learn from people who've been working for many years, or for people who are just starting off their career in finance. So it gives you a great opportunity to get to work on real world problems and help solve them and really grow as an individual. Now, throughout your time in the program, you will have support from our Career Advancement Center. So you can book appointments with our career coaches and, work on things such as your resume, your LinkedIn, coffee chat, help you schedule coffee chats or what to say, which is really important in this tough economic climate where a lot of people are wondering, well, how do I secure my next job? We help you with that. We help provide you with the tools that you would need to be able to succeed in a very challenging marketplace. And this program itself is a proud partner of the CFA Institute, Kaya, and Game Plan. So we usually have different case competitions that we take part in, and we also have different events that we get invitations to from the CFA and from Kaya. So our students are usually able to go to these events and participate in different case competitions throughout their time in the program. We're also a proud partner of the Game Plan and the Canadian Olympic Committee. So we also support our students or former Canadian Olympic athletes who finished competing and now they're looking for what is their next role or what are they going to be doing after competition. So we support them throughout their journey. So this information session is a focus on the CFA Institute, a CFA designation. Many of you may be interested in the CFA and you're considering the Master of Finance program. So we wanted to have this webinar to talk about how this program complements each other. We're not a competitor of the CFA. We are a complement and a partner of the CFA. So we wanted to have this session where we can talk about what are the benefits of having both of these designations. So joining me here today is Catherine Laflamme, who will be discussing her time in the program, and she'll be talking to us about why she decided to do both. So I'll give Catherine her opportunity to introduce herself, and then we'll get into it. Catherine?
Hi, thanks, Gary. My name is Catherine Laflamme. I completed the MFIM program. I graduated in 2023, and I've been a charter holder since 2021. I guess maybe I'll tell you where I work as well. I currently work for a federal crown corporation, Canada Deposit Insurance Corporation, and I'm located in Ottawa.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. So the reason why I reached out to you initially, because I saw that you're very active in the CFA society in Ottawa. So maybe what encouraged you to, become a charter holder and, still be active after becoming a charter holder?
Sure. And it's interesting because I would say that my involvement in my local CFA society is possible because of the MFIN, because I was recruited to be a volunteer through somebody I met in my class.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. So the reason that I pursued my charter originally was I had an interest in finance, but I didn't want to go back to school full time and sacrifice working. And I mean, that was really the driver. That's one of the benefits of the CFA program is it's very similar to the MFIN program is that you continue to work, right? And you can really make your own schedule, study as much or as little as you want. You should study a lot, but it really is up to you. And I mean, so that was the big driver. So I continued to work while I did it. And it allowed me to kind of break into new roles in my organization that maybe wouldn't have been available to me if I didn't take that path. Because the other interesting thing I think for me is that I didn't study commerce. I did a Bachelor of Arts. So my background was not in finance. So it just kind of also shows you that it's kind of accessible to anybody if you have the interest and you put in the time. And so that was, I mean, I started my CFA journey many years ago. I think I wrote level 1 in 2014, finished my exams by 2017. And then many years later, decided to pursue the MFIN. And I'm just kind of going off script now, but
Oh, please.
part of the reason I did that was many of the reasons you described. It's just the way the program is set up. It's the experiential learning, it's the hands-on, it's the communication, the teamwork. The CFA program is excellent from a theoretical perspective, but for me, I wanted a little bit more of the hands-on aspect that you just can't really get that when you're doing self-study. So that's what makes the two programs go so well together and worked well for me. And also with the CFA program, yes, it's allowed me to get involved in my local society, and I am on our board of directors as the vice president, and I'll be the president starting in July. That's another great perk is the network. That's also something that's great about the Queen's MFin and Queen's in general, really, is the strong alumni network. And you get that as a CFA charter as holder as well. Like that's one of the major perks. You're part of a community, and it's it's like quite elite because not a lot of people have the designation. And then if you have the CFA and the MFin, that's an even smaller number of people. Um, and again, it's one of those things that it's up to you how much you use that network, but you can meet fantastic people, job opportunities, volunteer opportunities. I get to travel a fair amount as a volunteer to places that I probably wouldn't get to go to otherwise. So yeah, I mean, it's really worked out for me. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on being president. That's
Oh, okay.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. You mentioned that your undergrad, you have a Bachelor of Arts. What was your focus? Was it economics?
It was business law.
Business law? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So business law. So I mean, like a little bit of business in there, but no math.
Hmm.
So I think that just kind of you're really having to teach yourself a lot in that aspect. But
Hmm.
then I think that if you studied commerce or you studied business, you have a bit of a leg up because you're already exposed to a lot of those topics.
So that's very interesting. So why we're both going off script right now because I'm getting so much information here that I'm just really curious. Why did you what made you want to get into finance? And were you working in finance? Was that your role before you decided to pursue the CFA?
No, so I actually I have another master's degree from Queen's as well, Master of Public Administration. And so when I graduated from that program, I started in kind of a traditional public policy role as a
Mhm.
policy analyst, and a role came up in the housing finance team. And that was kind of what piqued my interest in finance because I was just learning a lot about how the markets operate because as we all know, like housing finance is so critical in Canada to our economy. So I was learning a lot about that, and it just somebody that I was working with was a CFA charter holder, and it introduced me to the program. And I thought, okay, well, if I want to keep going down this path, I should probably have something to back it up, right? Um, and so yeah, like it was a pretty quick pivot from what I originally thought my path was going to be. And then I just kind of headed down the finance role. And at that time, I was working at another Crown corporation, Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. So insurance, basically. Yeah, basically my whole career has been at like Crown insurance companies.
Oh, fantastic. Well, congratulations on all your success so far. Your story is actually inspirational because we do get applicants who don't have a traditional finance background and they're always what they are, their passion is, or they want to pursue finance. So they always wonder, well, can I? Because my background is not, as you alluded to, like it's not commerce, it's not business. So would I qualify? And we always say, well, yeah, the main thing we're looking for, this program is designed for people who want to either pivot into finance or advance in their career in finance. So that's how this program is designed. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience in the program itself? Like how was it for you?
Mhm. Sure. And just with what you said, I think I met so you're talking about the MFin program?
Yes,
Yeah.
MFin, and then you could tell us also about the
Yeah.
CFA.
In the MFin program, I think there was a mix of people like that, those that are already working in finance, wanting to go further, and then a number of people who were breaking in as well. So it is a field that is accessible. I think we're just kind of conditioned to think that maybe it isn't. But you just got to kind of put in the effort. My experience in the program was overall very positive. The professors are incredible, top notch, I would say. Very experienced, bring in excellent guest speakers, which is something like, and those are just the things that you're not, that complement your CFA, because you cannot get that with your CFA, exposure to experienced professionals like that. I felt really well equipped going into it, having my CFA, because not everything was brand new. It was still challenging. It was definitely still challenging, but I was prepared and had a leg up in some ways because I'd already been exposed to these things. Um, the group work was challenging, but I'm really thankful for it because it gives you some skills that, again, you just kind of have to experience that in order to gain some of the skills on how to work with other people. The challenge with it is everybody has different priorities. We're all professionals that are working full time and doing this program, and you have to be very flexible, and work with a group of people that, you're not always going to be on the same page. So that it was very challenging, but ultimately I'm really thankful for that aspect of the program. And I think something that you also talked about was the communications aspect. We downplay the importance of that. And not just communications in terms of how to make a deck or how to speak. One of the really critical things that helped me was the Q&A sessions sometimes at the end of a presentation, or yeah, just one prof in particular did a really good job at grilling us, in a way that, um, you don't need to know the answer, but you really learn to think on your feet, which again is a really good skill. So some of these things are kind of simple, but if you don't practice them and if you don't learn how to do them, then you're at a disadvantage. So yeah, you get tons of technical knowledge from this program, but there's also a big chunk of it is the softer skills as well, which you can't get with your CFA. You're just not going to get that. And so that's why I think having the two is really attractive.
Yeah, I think we try to stress sometimes the importance of the other side of things, because I do speak with some people who work in the industry a lot, and we do ask them, what is it that you're not seeing, or what is it that you feel could be is important for graduates coming out of the program, and what would you think they can improve on? And big part of it we hear is the communication skills. We hear a lot of times students are not able to sit and have discussions or full-on conversations just with their peers or their managers, just talk about the markets or whatever it is that they're doing in their role, and they do struggle with it. So we do believe that that is important. I do want to ask you something as well, because can you confirm that while you were taking this program, you also had your family, you had your full-time job? Because this is a question we get. How do you manage your time? So how were you able to manage all of this and you were also a top student. So I want to make sure everybody knows she was also the top student in the program while managing all of this. So how did you do it?
Sure. Yes. So I have three kids. I guess when I was going through the program, that was three kids under 6.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, how did I do it? Yes, and I had a full-time job. It was very important from the get-go to establish my support systems. And I was lucky to have that. Um, how did I do it? I don't, sometimes I don't even know how I did it. I think another thing that really worked to my advantage is I have a great employer, and I worked in a role at the time that was very structured. So I knew when my busy times were going to be, and I knew when I could like relax a bit at work, focus on schoolwork, or when it would, and vice versa. Um, and I think you kind of realize early on in the program where to focus your energy and where to not focus it is kind of just what worked for me. And also I used my profs a lot. Like I leveraged office hours, meeting with them and everything. So when I like, and I say that because like if something wasn't clicking for me, I didn't have time to spin my wheels. So I would reach out to people and figure it out. And that was also one of the benefits of having a team is that you have people that you can work through things with. Um, but I'm not going to suggest that it was easy. It was very difficult and I was very tired, but it's only 1 year is kind of how I looked at it. And it's definitely manageable, but having a support system is very helpful if you're lucky enough to have that.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and we do try to stress this at the end. We make sure that we thank the support, or we ask the students to thank the support system that they had around them during that time, because without them, a lot of this would not be possible. Especially most of the students in the programs right now, they do come in with families with a lot going on in their lives. Some people are in very senior position that they have busy lives, but they're still able to do really well in the program throughout the year. They are challenged at times, and they do have certain moments where they reach their breaking point. But I think it's because of that support system that they have around them that has really been able to help them succeed. I have one question before we continue, and then everybody who is on the call right now, we will leave some time at the end for you to ask any questions. Catherine will be sticking around to answer any questions that you have about either the CFA, the program, or whatever you have you want to know about. We'll save some time at the end for you to ask questions. So the final question that I have for you from my end is, what advice do you have for anyone who's on the call or who may be watching the recording? What advice do you have for them regarding pursuing both of these designations, MFin and the CFA?
Um, I think I would say if you haven't done either and you want to do both, I would try and do them at the same time. Because I think that you get big benefits out of that. A number of my classmates were writing level two during the program and they were successful. Again, not everybody can do that given personal circumstances or other commitments, but I'd say doing it like that or doing them as close together as possible is going to make, although like demanding on time, I think it makes it easier in the long run because your knowledge is fresh. Um, I would say I don't think it necessarily matters too much which one is done first. Um, but yeah, I feel like you're just well equipped going into either one if you've done one of them. And I think I'll also just say is that it really is a killer combo. There's never somebody that isn't impressed by it because it's not just the knowledge, but it is the like dedication and commitment, I think, to pursuing both. And really this idea that you get that theoretical and that hands-on and the soft skills. Um, yeah, it's just I think it's a really great combo and it's benefited me a lot, a lot. Yeah, of
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing
course.
and answering these questions. I know some people are probably going to have some questions in the chat, so thank you for sticking around the end.
Sure.
So I'm just going to wrap up this presentation to tell the audience or the participants about the application process. So if you are interested in the MFin program specifically, what the application process looks like. So once you submit your application, you will be paired with application advisor. That will be Jennifer Mayer, who will be working with you throughout the entire application process. So if you are interested in the program, if you're interested in June, we do have some time remaining. You would need to get all your documents together very quickly because we will be starting very soon, very quickly. So all we need from you to start the process is a copy of your resume and an unofficial transcript, and that gets the process started. In terms of an admissions, what do we look for? Of course, because this is a master's degree, we will require you to have an undergraduate degree. a minimum of 2 years relevant work experience. If you don't have 2 years work experience, or you have less than that, we do make exceptions for students who have a strong GMAT score, or you've successfully completed CFA level 1, you have an undergrad degree in business, economics, and strong internships. This program will require you to either have a GMAT, GRE, a CPA from North America, or if you've successfully completed CFA level 1 or higher, then you will not be required to write the GMAT. If we do make exceptions from time to time based on your overall profile, let's say that you've been working in the finance industry for many, many years, we do make exceptions. You have great grades in your undergrad, so there is an opportunity for you to get an exception from writing the GRE or the GMAT exam. So we do also require 2 letters of reference. We will already have your copy of your resume because that's something that you would have to send in before the process gets started. Copy of your cover letter, and the final step in the process is an interview with myself. In terms of fees, this is a cost for our domestic students. It's $39,703. For international students, it is $76,900. This program is OSAP eligible. So if you are a domestic student, you do qualify for OSAP. And this fee includes everything from your tuition, books, case competitions, meals and accommodations during our in-person sessions. So all of these things are included in the fees. The fees are all inclusive here. I want to save some time at the end for students or any of our participants to ask any questions. So Catherine is still here with me, so we'll be answering any questions that you have. So I'll turn to our Q&A. So if you see the Q&A, you can submit any questions that you may have. We'll take as much time and answer your questions. So just bear with me 1 second while I put it up. All right, so let's see the first question. What are the demographics? So this one is for me. What are the demographics of the cohort in terms of age, years of professional experience? Catherine, do you know what the demographic looked like for your cohort? I can answer for the present cohort, but for your cohort, do you remember what the demographic, the breakdown in terms of age and professional, like how many years experience?
Age, I mean, I'm kind of guessing, but I would say that the majority of the students were probably early 30s, with some outliers. I was on the older end, I think, and then maybe a handful of people that were older than me, and then a handful of people that were mid-20s. You know, they had just done the undergrad, done the work experience, and came right into the program. But I would say it was like a cluster around that early 30s. And then in terms of professional experience, again, you know, just lined up with that age, it seemed like the majority was between like 5 to 7 years of experience around there, then with the outliers on the other ends.
Yeah, this is what we see almost every year in terms of our cohorts. The average age is usually around 30, 31. That's what we see every year. In terms of work experience, Catherine is absolutely correct. The average average years of professional experience is between 5 and 7. There are outliers. We do have people who come in on the younger side, and then we do have people who come in on the more experienced side. So this is typically what we see. The majority of the program in terms of gender, it's usually male, 2/3 male, 1/3 female. We want to see more females in the program. We would love to see that. But these are some of the stats that we see every year, and most people come in already working. I would say the majority of the students in the program are working professionals. All right, the next question that we have, can you compare and contrast MFIN program versus EMBA programs? So those are 2 different programs. The EMBA program is going to be an executive, or the full-time MBA program. They're more generalist degrees. So you cover topics such as marketing, strategy, people more going to consulting from those roles, HR. So they're more generalist degrees, whereas MFIN program, they're focused on finance. So most of the people in the program are finance professionals. So your classmates are focused on working in the finance industry, whereas in the executive MBA or a full-time MBA program, some people will be doing finance, but then other people's have different career paths. They're going into more of the management side of things, but it could be management in any area. Whereas a Master of Finance program, we specifically focus on the finance industry. So we would have sometimes people from the full-time MBA coming into this program to do a couple of courses because they want to get into the finance industry as well. So that's a main difference between the two programs. Both fantastic programs. One is just like if you know that you want to get into the finance industry, you know this is where you want to be and that's your focus, then that's why a lot of people take the MFin program versus the EMBA. Catherine, may I ask, have you ever considered pursuing an MBA degree?
I mean, sure, at one point, maybe. I don't think that's in the cards for me anymore. But I'll just say there was one student that was doing the joint MBA MFin that was in my cohort. So he was in some of my classes. And yeah, to your point, there's like a bit of overlap, but the MBA is definitely more generalist. Um, and yeah, for me, the interest was just more in finance, so it made more sense to go that direction for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you bring up an excellent point. We do also have a dual degree option, but that's with our full-time MBA. So if you are interested in taking the full-time MBA and the MFin, there's an opportunity to do that. However, just note that the full-time MBA is a full-time, not while you work program. So you would need to be in Kingston at the same time while doing this program. That's one of the options. Or you could do it, there are a couple of ways you can do it. You could start with this program first, and then you can do the full-time MBA. But if you are working while taking this program, you'll probably have to quit your job in order to do the full-time MBA. Or you can do the full-time MBA program first, and then while you're taking this program, you can be working and getting your degree at the same time. So what the benefits of that is that some of the courses that we offer in the MFin program, if you're taking this program first, you will not have to do it in the full-time MBA. So there's less courses that you'll have to pursue in the full-time MBA versus what you would have to do in MFin. So that's how it works out there. So hopefully we're able to answer that. And Catherine, we have a question specifically for you. What's your favorite part of the program in terms of classes, career advisors, etc.? Oh, I'm interested to know this as well. Great questions,
Um,
everyone.
yeah, I think I already, I talked about the professors, and I really genuinely mean that. I think that the quality of the instructors is really, really top notch. And I say that having, I did a previous degree at Queen's and I also did an undergrad as well. So, I mean, I've had a number of professors. I think these are hands down the best I've ever had. Just in terms of delivery of content, but then also in terms of background and experience in industry. It was just excellent. Um, I think the flexibility in this program, the way that the classes are set up, is really manageable. And I'll also say that one of my favorite parts was the people that I met. Still in contact with a few good friends. I now work with one of them. You because and these weren't people that were on my team, but you get this opportunity to work very closely with people and go through this big challenge together, whether they're directly on your team or you're just in classes with them. And that's like quite important, I think, especially early career, to be establishing those relationships and your network and learning how to deal with people. Um, yeah, I honestly, I was thinking because Gary had provided me, with some things that we might talk about, and I was trying to think about what I didn't like about the program, and there really wasn't anything that I didn't like. It was just challenging at times, and I think what you'll like the most is maybe dependent on your personality, right? I loved the profs because they were approachable, really smart, fair. So yeah, and then I like my classmates because I'm like more of a social person, right? So I guess it's a bit dependent, but I think there's something for everybody, really.
Yeah, that's some excellent points that you made there. And I think we have a great mix of profs in this program where we have people who are tenured research profs, and then we have some that work in the industry. So it's a great mix. I like that we get a little bit of both worlds. So it's not just the research side of things, but you get people who are in the industry who are working on a lot of these concepts and doing a lot of these work in their day to day. So that's really excellent. Thank you for that. All right, so I do have another question, and please, if you have any other questions, everyone, this is your time. You have someone here who's gone through the program. They're a CFA charter holder. So it's an excellent time to ask any question that you may have. Don't be shy. So I think this one is for me. Do you have students that are from out of province that maintain their out of province employment, that means remote, to take the program? Yeah, we do have students who we have some students who are actually entrepreneurs, or they have a business. We've had students who've had businesses in Africa, and they've had to leave and go to conferences either in Dubai or go to Africa. I think it was in Nigeria specifically. Or even if you have your job in Ottawa, we have people, but you have to have these arrangements with your employer. So this has to be done with your employer. They need to be on board. You need to let them know that this program allows you to work full time while taking the program. You need to talk to them about the structure, about how the program is delivered. But as Catherine was mentioning earlier, she was like, it's really important to have that support system. So part of that support system is your employer. So if they're willing to make it work with you as you're outside of the province, then of course you can do that. We do not tell students that they cannot be working outside of the province or even in a different time zone. We don't control that. That's totally up to you and your employer. If you can make it work, excellent. But this program, again, it does allow you to work while taking it. The design of it gives you a lot of flexibility. On Monday evening from 6 to 9:30 p.m. and on every alternating weekend. Of course, there's going to be group work and work throughout that period, but it's all about managing your time. And as Catherine mentioned, it's a year, so it kind of goes by, it goes by really quickly. And then once some of the feedback that I've heard is that once you're finished with the program, you're like, well, what do I do with my time now? Because I spent so much time developing a new system and habits, dealing with my assignments, working with my team, and then while working full time. And my family life had to be arranged around this, but now I have to go back to how it was before. And sometimes they're like, I can't remember how life was before that. But it really depends on your relationship with your employer, whether or not it can work. So it really does depend, but it is an option that is available to you. Catherine, I don't know if you want to add anything or.
I was just going to say that's the same for the CFA program as well. You wonder what you're going to do with all your time after.
Yeah, the CFA.
Flashbacks there.
I actually saw someone posted on LinkedIn yesterday that a big part of the CFA, I think, was the studying. Like a lot of them, when they finished, like they really missed the studying part. They were like, it was so intense, but it was so rewarding just leading up to the exams. And then when they were finished, it was like, okay, I'm a charter holder now. Now what? But I see that you found some purpose outside of just being the charter holder, but now you're actively engaged in the society, which I think is excellent. Right, so I have another question here. Will the program cover data analytics, programming language in the curriculum? Thanks. So not directly, we don't really cover data analytics. We do have an analytics program that if you're interested in data analytics and programming language, we do have a Master of Management in Analytics program, and we also have a Master of Management in Artificial Intelligence program. That you can look into if that's specifically what you're interested in. Our program is specifically more geared towards the finance side. You will get, if we do have electives that are covered, that are offered by our analytics program. This is very new for this year. So if you go onto our curriculum, you'll see that update in there. So you can take one of our courses offered by our analytics program or one of the courses offered by our Master in Financial Innovation Technology program. But specifically, we don't go deep into any analytics or programming languages in our curriculum. Great questions, everyone. Thank you so much. I think that's it. I don't see any. Oh, we have one more question. How much of the program is virtual and in person? Mostly in person. I would say 95%, 98% of this program is in person. This is an in-person program, and there is a lot of value that we believe to be had within being in person. And the next one, and do I have to physically be in Toronto in June? Yeah, so our programs start in June, early June. I believe our start date is either June 6th or 7th. We start off our program in Kingston, and that is mandatory for anyone who's interested in pursuing this program. You have to come and join us in Kingston for 1 week. So if you are working full time, you will need to take some time off for that week to join us in Kingston. It's just how we start off our program. There's a lot of fun activities planned. It's an excellent opportunity for you to get to meet your classmates, get to know the facility, get to know Kingston, the main campus of Goods Hall. So this program, if you are someone who is not looking for an in-person program, this may not be the right program for you. This program is a fully in-person program offered out of a Smith Toronto facility. We're located downtown Toronto, 200 Front Street West, but we do start off in Kingston. So this program is mostly in person. The questions are coming in here now. Sorry, I joined late. Is it necessary to have CFA level 1 for us to be considered for this program? It is not necessary for you to have CFA level 1. Catherine, I want to ask you a question before I finish answering this question. Did you find that having, let's say if you had, because you didn't come from a finance background, did you find it was beneficial, not being a charter holder, but did you find it was beneficial for you having at least CFA level 1? Did you find like just understanding the concepts there was helpful?
Yeah, that would definitely help. Level 2 would be even better, I would say. But yeah, if you can have the level 1 going into it, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for answering, because we do say these things sometime, but it's great to have somebody with the background and the experience, so you can actually hear it from the person, somebody who's actually gone through. So it's not necessary to have it, but it is helpful for you, especially if you don't have a finance background, like you haven't done anything in finance and you're coming from a background that's not necessarily finance, then the CFA level 1 would definitely be helpful for you. We do also accept the GMAT, GRE, or a CPA from North America if to be considered. But if you've been working in finance for many years, you've had excellent grades in your undergrad, we do offer waivers for those. It really does depend on your overall profile. So if you are interested, send us a copy of your unofficial transcript and resume, and we'll be able to do a better assessment. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. Great questions, everyone. Thank you so much for your attendance. Thank you so much for for being with us, and thank you so much, Catherine, for your time. I do appreciate it. It was excellent. We really enjoyed having you in the program, and we really enjoy you joining us here today to answer some of the questions that some people may have on their mind and they're considering pursuing either the CFA or the MFin or both. Any final thoughts or any final words?
I don't know, just go for it. Thanks for having me. No, I love it. I mean, I'm always happy to talk about my experience with the CFA and the MFin. It's a bit cheesy, but they have both enriched my life, I think, in many ways, not just career and not just professionally, but personally as well. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for the program and Queens. I mean, I'm just Queens. You can't beat the alumni network, so I think we're the best.
That is true. I can't argue with that. I hear
Yeah.
this feedback from a lot of different people. So it's great. It's great that you said that. And I didn't say it, but you heard it. You heard it from Catherine. And hopefully, if we have our MFin alumni networking event, we're thinking about having one next year. We hope that you'll be able to join us.
Oh, for sure.
All right, thank you. So everyone, if you are interested in our final information, our program overview, so we didn't go through everything about the program itself because this information session was specifically dedicated towards talking about the CFA and the MFin program and how they complement each other. But if you're interested in learning about the program itself, please join us on May 12th, where we'll be doing the final overview for the program before the program actually begins in June. But if you are interested in doing an assessment to see whether or not you qualify for this program, or you're ready to start your application and you're ready to join us in June, you can submit your assessment or your resume and unofficial transcript to smithqueens.com/mfin. Or if you have your phone available, just scan the QR code on the screen and that'll take you to the page where you can start your assessment and you'll be able to join us this June. But that's it from us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Catherine, for your time. We hope this information session was useful to you. We hope it was helpful. If you do have any questions, please feel free to send them our way. We're happy to answer any and all of your questions. But until then, see you on May 12th. Take care. Bye-bye.